A missing limit flag just caused a playbook to restart PostgreSQL on 200 production servers. The pipeline's HOSDS variable was empty, so Ansible targeted all hosts. Here's exactly why. Let's start with the basics of Ansible in CI/CD. Welcome to TheCodeForge. Before we dig into that production issue, let's cover Ansible CI/CD Jenkins. Ansible in CI/CD means integrating Ansible playbook execution into automated pipelines like Jenkins or GitHub Actions. It transforms ad hoc automation into a repeatable, auditable, and gated deployment mechanism. The problem it solves is consistency and safety. Without a pipeline, engineers run playbooks from their laptops with varying environments, secrets may be exposed, and there's no audit trail. In Jenkins, use the declarative pipeline syntax with a sh step to run Ansible playbook. Store vault passwords as Jenkins credentials and inject them via with credentials. Always write the password to a temp file with restricted permissions and clean up after. Here's a complete Jenkins pipeline. The first stage creates a vault password file from the secret. The second stage runs the playbook with limit and vault password file. The post block cleans up the file. GitHub Actions has a community action that simplifies running playbooks. Store vault passwords as repository secrets and pass them via env. For multiple vault IDs, use a raw run step. This GitHub Actions workflow runs the playbook with check and diff. The vault password is passed from secrets. The action writes it to a temp file automatically. The limit flag is your best friend in CI. Always use it with a parameter that defaults to a safe group. Validate that it's non-empty and optionally check that the host or group exists in inventory. Here's a Jenkins stage that validates the HOSDS parameter. It checks that it's not empty and that the host or group exists in the inventory. A common pattern is to run checkdiff in a separate stage and fail the pipeline if it detects changes. This acts as a dry run gate before actual deployment. This Jenkins stage runs the playbook in check mode and greps the output for changed equals. If any changes are detected, the pipeline fails. Molecule is the standard testing framework for Ansible roles. Run it in CI on every PR to validate playbooks against Docker containers before merge. This is a typical Molecule YAML configuration. It uses the Docker driver with an Ubuntu image. The pre-build image, true, speeds up testing. This GitHub Actions workflow runs Molecule on every PR. It installs Molecule and the Docker driver, then runs Molecule test. Before running any playbook, validate syntax and style. Add these as separate pipeline stages to fail fast. These Jenkins stages run syntax check and linting. They catch errors before any execution. This is the same issue we highlighted at the start. Here's exactly why that happened. The pipeline script used limit HOSDS, where HOSDS was an empty string because the input parameter wasn't required and defaulted to. Ansible treats empty limit as no limit, so it ran on all hosts in inventory. The fix was to add validation that fails the pipeline if HOSDS is empty. We also set a default value of canary so that even if the parameter is not provided, it defaults to a safe group. If HOSDS is an empty string, Ansible treats it as no limit and runs on all hosts. Always validate that the limit is non-empty. This is the exact line that caused the incident. The HOSDS variable was empty, so Ansible ran on all hosts. Always validate that the limit is non-empty. Some CI runners use sh-, which doesn't support process substitution. Always use a temp file instead. Modules like command and shell do not support check mode and will always report changed. Use changed when, false, or check mode. No on such tasks. Molecule requires Docker. Ensure the CI runner has Docker installed and the user has permissions. Use the Molecule Docker driver. Process substitution may fail in CI shells like sh. Use a temp file with chmod 600 for portability across Jenkins and GitHub Actions. Prevent accidental runs on all hosts by validating that limit is non-empty and the host group exists in inventory using Ansible inventory. Modules like command, shell, and raw do not support check mode and always report changed. Use changed when, false, or check mode. No on such tasks to avoid false positives in dry run gates. Run molecule test in CI on every PR. Ensure Docker is available and use the Docker driver for fast, isolated testing. To debug common issues, first check if check mode was accidentally left enabled. Verify the inventory file is correct and hosts match the limit. Use Ansible inventory list to debug. Also ensure the vault password file exists. Let's run through some common interview questions. How to pass vault password in Jenkins? Use with credentials and temp file. What is check mode purpose? Dry run gate to detect changes before apply. How to limit hosts in CI? Use limit with validated non-empty parameter. And a few frequently asked questions. Can I run Ansible without limit? Technically yes, but dangerous. How to handle multiple vault IDs? Use vaulted with separate files. How to speed up molecule tests? Use Docker scenarios, limit platforms per PR. To recap, always store vault passwords in CI secrets, never run without a non-empty limit, use checkdiff as a gate, run molecule tests, add syntax and lint checks early, and test idempotency. Ready to go deeper? Up next, Ansible performance tuning, then Ansible linting and testing with molecule, then Ansible Windows automation. Find them all at TheCodeForge.io. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at TheCodeForge.io.